mistake. So unfortunately I was using my old GoPro to record myself on the way into the strip, and I hadn't quite thought of the fact that the little thing was going to rattle around in its little box, so the audio was completely unusable. So you've got me as a voiceover for this section, and for the rest of the video I'll explain why as I'm doing my checks. But yeah, welcome to the video, and this is me just about to go into the strip, so left hand turn, here we go. Now we're going to be spending quite a bit of time together over the coming months and years, I guess, so it probably makes a bit of sense for me to explain what I'm doing at the moment. So this is me doing checks, really. You've got to do a whole series of checks before you even get off the ground, just as you would with any great big airliner. They're quite comprehensive because we've got to make sure that everything is right before we actually do take off. So this is me just kind of checking instrumentation. Just before that I was making sure controls were all good as well. The wind on this particular flight was coming from the north. This is me doing mag checks, so you rev the engine up to about 3000 RPM, then do a dead mag check, so you turn off two switches on the side of the plane just to make sure that the engine responds accordingly. Yeah, wind was coming from the north on the day that I did the flight, so that made it a little bit tricky, just purely because it was a major crosswind, which is not too much of a problem, but it was starting to get to the point where we were thinking about maybe cancelling the flight. But it was right on 10 knots. I had the chief instructor right behind me at this point, so that made it quite interesting. But yeah, carried on with the checks, and then was ready to go. Now, the really cool thing about this particular flight is that this is my first actual solo on my own outside of the circuit. So I'd never gone out of the circuit before on my own. So huge excitement going on in that plane right now. So quite cool. Now, the plan is going forward that I'm actually going to have a microphone attached to myself in my helmet, which you can kind of see in the shadow there, and you'll hear me talking throughout. So instead of having a voiceover, it'll be a little bit more engaging. But yeah, so that seems to be all the checks all done. I've got my gloves all on, so at this point I'll be just checking to make sure that everything is clear, and taxiing off down the side of the runway. And here we are. So this is runway 29 departing off towards the west of East Lothian. And off we go. So as you can see, it's got quite a short roll, and then it's off, and that's me going over some smoke from the local farmer, who decided it'd be a good idea to give us some assistance on which way the wind was going. So I usually climb up to around about 1500 feet, 2000 feet, just to get out of some of the bumpy stuff that tends to hover around here. So depart off to the north, and then my first mission of the day, because it's my first solo flight out in East Lothian, is to head off to my house. So I'm going to fly over Dunbar, which is just to the east of the airstrip. But of course we'll get some bean cans in there, go up and down and spin it around. Now heading down to Dunbar. So this is now Dunbar. You can see the harbour over there straight in front of me, and the playing field is just below with the school. My house is pretty much just right below where I am right now, and then I kind of skirt around over the side past the golf course. Beautiful part of the country to fly in, and also to live in, obviously, which is why I live here. So mission 2 after I left there was to kind of try and find a coffee shop that people have been telling me about, but I couldn't find it. So that's why I'm kind of zigging and zagging past here. It's a place called Drift. it's got some fantastic views of Bass Rock, which is just off to the left hand side there. So you can see that now just disappearing off screen. And then just below you've got some clouds, which I love doing. It's like my #1 favorite thing to do. It's just a cloud hop. So after that and the unsuccessful attempt at trying to find drift, I just kind of headed back to the airfield and gave up for the day. So just a good old standard overhead join, coming in again on runway 29. The really cool thing about coming in this way is you fly right over the top of Concorde. So this is me just descending dead side and then kind of going to hook it around over the left, just more or less where I took off from earlier. So on this next left hand turn you'll see loads of hangars in front, so that's the National Flight Museum, and in there, in the really black one, just there on the tip of my nose, is pretty much where the Concorde is. You can see the cars racing underneath me there. It's the experience day. But this is me now coming into land, finals on 29. Not bad for my first solo outing all on my own around the countryside. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did, flying it. It was absolutely stunning up there. So yeah, loads of comments please, some likes, shares, whatever you really want to do, and I will catch you on my next flight, hoping to get up in the next few weeks if the weather is any good. But otherwise, yeah, I shall catch you around in the skies of Scotland. Have a good one.